Hey guys, I got my skid plates from Primitive Racing today, and I'm going to do a quick unboxing and how to install on a 2013 Outback 2.5. And just a couple quick reasons as to why I went with Primitive over anything else that was out there on the market. For one, they're reasonably priced, and for two, I agree with a lot of the views and common sense knowledge of Primitive Racing. Paul, who has been the kind of, he's the main man behind the brand for the last 30 years. He is very deep into the rally scene, off-road scene, and pretty much knows his stuff very well. And the support has been awesome. I emailed them on a couple days ago, about 4:45 in the afternoon, and within, I think, 6 minutes, Kirsten, who's the gal that does all the sales stuff, she had emailed me back, answered my questions. And I had some banking trouble the next day. They were able to take care of everything and give me my parts on kind of like a last minute rush down to San Diego for a trip that I'm going on out to Vegas, and super appreciative with them on that. And so let's get to it. So I did get all three plates. I got the front, mid, and rear diff plate. As of the time of when I bought them, Primitive was offering a 15% discount if you bought all three at once, aka triple armor discount, and their shipping was reasonably priced and not too expensive. FedEx got it to me from Oregon to San Diego in 2 days, so that was pretty cool. So let's see what we got. I'm guessing this is the rear diff cover, like so, and some hardware, aka the filler box. I'll set that aside. And very nicely packaged, very plain, and they even spend a little bit of extra money to put their logo on the boxes, which they do not have to do, but knowing how it works in a small company, a couple extra bucks to make it look really professional. I'm guessing this is the trans skid, so this is the middle plate, and the big front plate. And alrighty, so here we have the mid training plate, the front plate, and the rear diff plate. Also comes with all the hardware you need along with instructions, and they even included this nifty little cell phone silicone wallet thing to attach to the back of your phone if that attracts you. But to be honest, I might even mount this somewhere inside on my plastic panels just for, I don't know, cool little jaggies. Anyways, it all looks pretty high quality and very well machined stuff from first glances and knowing what I know about fabricating. This is 3/16 inch thick aluminum, and there are many people that say, oh my gosh, it's aluminum, it's soft, it's going to bend. Well, I drive a Subaru, I don't drive a Baja rally vehicle, and if I hit something hard enough to bend this to the point where it did me more harm than good, I'm probably being an idiot or shouldn't be doing what I'm doing anyway. So aluminum is perfect. It's lightweight, especially for, the some say underpowered engine of the Subaru, the 2.5. It's perfect and it'll do its job very well. All of this together with the triple armor discount and ground shipping, paid $504 shipped with ground shipping, like I said, 2-day service San Diego. Very good stuff and very quality parts for the price. So we'll get this on and see how it goes. So once you get your car jacked up and everything's good to go, first thing you're going to have to do is remove your factory plastic. I wouldn't call it a skid plate at all, more like a splash guard maybe. Mine is already kind of half off from hitting lots of things, and basically you're going to have clips that run all along the side here, and down here. Same with the other side, and then all through the front. Pop all of these clips out, and these two center clips here and here, save those because those are handy for mounting the new plate, and then some in the back, and then take out this bolt right here and on the other side down there. Note, if you don't already know how these clips work, basically it's a rivet type clip. So this outer ring has fins on the other side that spread open when this rivet is pressed in. So in order to take this out, don't put your screwdriver on this end because you'll break the clip. Well, break it if you want to just toss it away. But the correct way to remove these is put your screwdriver on the inside like so, pop that sucker out like so, and this will come out, and then the whole assembly can come out as one. So as you can see there's a little fins on the underside that spread out once this is pushed through. So you just need to disengage the middle part in order to pull it out. And remove this guy with your 12mm socket. Those clips, and that's what you're going to get when all those clips and bolts are removed. Now we can go ahead and install the plate. Back under the car, that is the front of the car right there. Here's the side. I don't even have jack stands or a jack or anything, it's just on the ground because I didn't really need one. So your rear facing bolt is going to go in this hole here in your rear subframe. Simply bolt washer. It's not that hard to do it with one person at all. I'm not going to be able to do it while recording though, but that kind of goes up just like that. And then if you want to, you can use the 2 rear plugs I told you to save earlier in this video up at the very front. The instructions from Primitive say it may decrease rattle noise, but it also makes the install with one person a whole lot easier because you can just prop these up, put the plugs in, and then put the 2 bolts in. So get all those 3 put in, and you'll be good to go for the front. Front plate on. So front plate on, and as you can see, pretty straightforward. So the 2 shorter bolts are going to go up front, right here, right there, and the last bolt is right there up in the rear. So once you get it in, just basic things for tightening bolts is to tighten them. Don't tighten them all at once. Just kind of get them to where they start to really catch, and tighten them all down equally and evenly. And once you have all that squared away, then you can go ahead and, if you want to, install the center pins. And then Primitive recommends tightening these bolts down to, I think, 14 foot-pounds. Yeah, 14 foot-pounds, and all caps, do not over tighten. So there's a reason why they put that, and it's a good thing to follow that. I do have a torque wrench here. If you don't, then tighten them to where they're snug, but don't use your bicep to crush them. And if you can get access to a torque wrench later, or just go rent one, don't be cheap, from an auto parts store, go ahead and do that. So pretty straightforward for the front plate. Now we'll do the center and rear. Actually, just a quick note, I did just torque them down to 13 foot-pounds, and even with a quite small ratchet like so, I still have, like, if I wanted to, if I didn't have a torque wrench, I honestly would think to still keep tightening, because there still is quite a bit of, it definitely feels it can go tighter. My assumption as to why Primitive Racing gave those torque specs is because what this is threading into is not, it's not the most strong, and I can see where you can quite easily strip it out just by going for it. So if you don't have a torque wrench, maybe disregard what I said last and don't put, don't snug them down to where you think they're good. I would just snug them down to where it's definitely not going to fall off, and don't put a whole lot of pressure into it. Use that rule of thumb where, just grab the wrench by, 2 or maybe 3 fingers, so you're not grabbing it with your whole hand, and just kind of try to give it a little bit of pull just with the wrist and not engaging your bicep at all, and that will help you get a somewhat proper torque if you don't have access to a torque wrench. So we're all good down here. I am going to install these little pins right here in the center, just because, and we'll go ahead and do the rears and the center. Alright, now we're going to install the rear armor plate. There are two sets of hardware bolts that Primitive Racing includes with the mid armor plate. One is slightly longer for what I believe is going to be for the 3.6 setup, which I don't have. I have the 2.5, and I don't know what the 3.6 looks like. I'm assuming it's a little bit bigger or thicker or something where you need longer bolts. So all the instructions are included. I do have the 2.5 as I said, and so and the mounting points are also the same. So this right here is my passenger front tire. Here is my exhaust and my tranny. Again, it's a little hard to see because the car is just on the ground, no jacks or anything. And you are going to mount your center plate. If you can locate this bracket here. So again, there is, use your exhaust, subframe, and then this rear connecting bracket has two bolts on either side, and then right in the middle is a very convenient threaded insert for you to thread in your, this is going to be for the rear mounts, and then your very front is going to be just forward. You'll have three holes on your subframe here. You want the hole that's closest to the rear of the car, and that is where the front mount bolts are going to go into for your mid armor assembly. Alright, so just getting ready to install the rear plate. This is how the plate orientates with the fins and the cutouts facing towards the back of the car. Here is my rear mounting point. You're going to take the small spacer that Primitive Racing includes. That's going to slide over like this, and then the plate is going to come up like so. And then the shorter gold bolts, which are 7/16 of an inch, are going to come over like that. And then you're going to put that up there and thread it in like so, and do that for both left and right sides. You can let the front of the plate hang and then install your front bolt. Alright, so here is the middle tranny plate with just the rear bolts mounted. So you can see the spacer is going to go between the plate and the subframe. And because this is a threaded insert, you simply put the spacer on top of it and just thread the bolt straight through. So you don't want to thread it in all the way because you're going to need room for the front plate for these large middle spacers to go. And basically the way that this is going to work for the front is you have your three holes here. You're going to use the rear one. So this spacer is going to sit right here in the subframe with the long bolt going all the way through the washer, the plate, this spacer, and finally going to thread in its own nut at the very top. So here's going to be your rear bolt, long bolt with the washer already on the end, and you're going to insert it. There's going to be two mounting holes on this plate. You're going to use the rear one for the 2.5. Again, I can't say it enough, this is for a 2.5, so the 3.6 may be different. Go up like that, and then you're going to lift the whole plate up like that, like so, and then this rear nut is going to, you can kind of get your hand around here and kind of hold the nut in place. Oh, not like that. Hold the nut in place and thread this bad boy in like so. And then just tighten that down and you will be good to go. On to the rear differential skid plate. Again, if you want to, you can jack up your car. I don't have any jacks of any kind, but if you do, be sure to put jack stands and not just use a plate. So with this guy, first thing that you're going to want to do is in the very rear, you're going to want to loosen these two bolts here. You can completely take them out, but you don't need to. You just need to loosen them enough because you're going to have to slide this bad Larry forward a little bit in order to slide your plate up in there and get it all secured. So I'm just going to go ahead and loosen these two bolts. I'm not going to remove them and see if I can get by with just loosening them. Alright guys, so this is the setup I got going on. So here are your two bolts. As you can see, they're loose, but not all the way out. And then I hooked a ratchet strap to this hole here on the diff. and ran it forward to just the subframe of the car up there. And basically what that does is, if I ratchet on the strap, your differential is going, your differential cover is, you're going to have to slide it up right here between your diff and your subframe. And so when you ratchet on this strap, you will see that this can slightly move forward just enough. Oh, hold on, ratchet slipped. So you can kind of, you just need to move it forward ever so slightly, about 3/16 of an inch, which is the thickness of the plate. Right there. And that strap will then hold it in place. So now you can see I have some space between the diff. Don't put your fingers up there like that's an idiot. Oh, for exactly that reason. So then you'll have some space up there and here. And I'll probably have to get a better ratchet because this one's really worn, so it won't hold. And then you're going to basically slide your differential plate up in there like so, and put the bolts in, and you're good to go. Alright, so here we have it with the plate in place. It's just being held in place right now by just the tension of the rear diff against the subframe. Those bolts aren't tight, and I haven't put the bolts in the front yet. But just so you can see, you'll know that you've pushed it up far enough so that your drain plugs are easily accessed, and you can still get to those without having to take off the cover. I will be honest, I mean, I know I don't have jack stands or anything, but even if I did, I cannot see myself ever getting the leverage or the right amount of force to push that thing forward with a screwdriver or a pry bar or a piece of wood or anything like that. So do yourself a favor, if you don't have a ratchet strap, go buy one, because it'll make your job 10 times easier, and I think it'll even make it possible, because I don't see how that would be possible to move it that far forward, because you have to hold it in place while you slide it up, and unless you have 2 or 3 people to do that, just go buy a ratchet strap. They're $5. So anyway, that's in place. Now we just have to put the front bolts in, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so I didn't find any repeatable source to what torque spec to tighten these bolts to. Tomorrow I'll probably call my Subaru dealer or Subaru of North America just to know. My torque wrench only goes up to 60 foot-pounds. I tightened it to there and went probably about a half turn more, so probably bumped it up to 120 foot-pounds, which should be more than enough. So anyway, so there you have it. So yeah, definitely recommend a ratchet strap to pull this forward. And again, you're going to hook your ratchet strap. There's a little mounting point right in there, and mount it somewhere up above there to basically pull your differential forward and hold it forward. Slide this plate up enough, and you'll know that you're up high enough again. Like once both of your fill holes are easily accessed, put both bolts in the front, tighten down to 30 foot-pounds, and you are all set. Alright guys, so wanted to give a 2,000 or so mile update. I put these plates on, and in less than 8 hours I was rallying through the Vegas mountains and the surrounding sides. Super glad I had them on, because I had a couple pretty big hits. And one of the things I noticed right away after installing these is I had a little bit of a sort of like a growl, or a, you know, kind of like call it a stubborn grinding sound, just when starting in first or second gear. When the engine was under heavy load, it was worse if I was starting on a hill. I reached out to Paul, and he reached back to me rather quickly and said maybe there's some vibration somewhere, make sure all your bolts are tight. I was concerned that it was maybe my rear diff cover, because that seemed to be the only piece that was like more of a hard install versus everything was just a directly bolt-on. So I was on my way to Vegas, and about 300 miles into my trip, it pretty much went away completely, so I didn't even worry about it. Totally fine through the whole trip, you know, maybe things settled in. When I got back to San Diego, I hit up a local trail here, and now that I had skid plates on, hit it way faster than I had before. Had some pretty hard hits, and the grout came back even worse than before. So checked all my bolts, they're all tight, and one of Paul's suggestions was to put some cardboard or other between the plates and the frame, you know, maybe again it's some vibration or something. I haven't diagnosed it further. I'm not too worried about it. I will update the video description if I do find out what happened or what it was. You know, I'll do some further troubleshooting, maybe take off a plate or two, you know, to see if that goes away. So anyways, other than that, these plates have been amazing. As you can see, I have done some considerable amount of damage. You can see there's a big dent right here. There's also another pretty sizable dent right there. And you know, lots of scrapes and whatnot. So definitely, you know, again, it is aluminum, and because of these dents, I might have done some serious damage elsewhere. And so anyways, super happy with these plates. Again, the only thing that is kind of in limbo right now is that little bit of growling sound. I do have a manual, keep that in mind. So maybe different with CVT. We'll go and see how the middle and the back plates look like. My mid plate looks pretty clean. Maybe this will give you an idea if you can only afford one, you know, which one should you get first. My front has considerable more damage than my rear does here. I do have a pretty good divot right there in the front. That's about it though. So I did reach out to Primitive, and I thought I was going to only buy, you know, one at the time, and I asked, you know, if you could only buy one, which one would you get? They definitely recommended the front. I would most likely back them up on that as well, since that does have considerable more damage to it than the middle does. And last but not least, here's the rear cover, what I suspect to be the problem child, just because this mounting point up here is you know, not a bolt-on mounting point. But anyway, I could be totally wrong. Anyways, this one looks okay. You can see a little bit of damage up there in the front. So again, you know, if you're going to be doing some hard driving, and or, you know, I will say this, after I did get these plates on, I definitely did drive less carefully on the trail. I picked, you know, I wasn't as picky about my line, and I, you know, definitely did drive a little bit less safe, as you would say. So, you know, also keep that in mind. Like, these aren't just, you know, bad quality plates. These are very high quality plates, and I did have a lot more hits on stuff that, you know, normally I would be driving slower or you know, take another route. So anyways, again, shout out to Primitive Racing and their team over there for making a really good product. I will, if anything other than the sound or anything evolves over the next thousands of miles I drive, I'll update the video content description. And if you guys have any questions or anything, hit me up. Again, 2013 Outback with the 2.5i manual transmission. Some of these plates, I think, have a lot of crossover between the Crosstrek and the Legacy and all of that. But if you're looking into these, then you probably already know that. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next video, and let me know if you have any questions on these plates. Go rally.